Welcome to this Introduction to Reflection Essay 3. Before watching this video, make sure you have seen both the lecture that's Introduction to Reflection, as well as the material we have on the reflection model that this assignment is based on. The first part of this assignment is covered in those materials I just mentioned, but I want to point out the what material, the so what idea, and the now what idea, because those are going to come up later when we look at the essay map. So this is where the new material that comes in that's not covered in the Introduction to Reflection lecture. And it's a little bit more about the concept of this particular assignment. So this semester in English 101, we've had a lot of different goals. Many of them are listed in the syllabus as course outcomes, but there are a lot of them. And we've taken that list and distilled it down into just a couple that we want to discuss in this essay, because that will give you a chance to really focus on what kind of evidence you've seen of your growth in terms of those course outcomes over the semester. This reflection is partly for you because reflection's been shown to help a student, evaluate the value of the different things that they've experienced in the semester. It's also a chance for you to consider what you've achieved and start thinking about your next goals and work. This essay is also for your instructor and the English department because it helps us reflect on how to best help future students meet the goals of this class and what we want to try differently next semester. For this assignment, you'll be composing a reflection and attaching an example essay, something that you've written over the course of this semester. These two documents will appear in a single document. First, in the reflection, you'll be referring to that example essay, and then throughout the reflection, any other work that you've produced, things you've read, discussions you've had, any other activities that you've participated in this semester. In your reflection, you need to address the following questions and give specific examples for each. You may quote the work you've produced this semester or any reading material covered in the class. This assignment's not designed for outside research. This is a section you really want to pay attention to in the assignment sheet because it tells you what the main topics are that will be covered in your reflection. I've highlighted the subheadings here, and these are the ones that are going to be covered in your body paragraphs. So the first body paragraph is a reflection on the example essay. Then you'll have two body paragraphs, which are about the generation of ideas, revision, and editing. The last body paragraph is on your participation in a respectful and inclusive community of writers. And we'll be spending quite a bit of time on this idea later in the lecture as we look at the essay map. So once again, the assignment itself is writing this reflective essay that includes a discussion of the ideas we just looked at. It will need to meet the content and structure requirements specified in the essay map below. So please use that essay map to help you build your reflection step by step. In the end, you'll turn in a single document that contains your reflection essay as well as your chosen example essay. I'm not going to cover each idea in the essay map because there's a lot here and you'll need to take your time and go through it. But what I've highlighted and what I'm going to stop on are some examples of things you should notice, which will help you use this essay map to write your reflection. So this first section is what goes into your introduction paragraph. And I want to point out that in your introduction, we've given you 4 bullet points right here, which are the same as the 4 body paragraph ideas that will be creating the main substance of your essay. For your thesis that I've highlighted right here, you can use something that's like this first example thesis statement, which says point by point, different ideas that you'll be covering. Or you can go for something that's much more general and talks about your ability as a writer and participation in a community of writers in general, how it's improved over the course of the semester. Each section of the essay map, as you can see here on the left, that this is the body paragraph about growth as evidenced by chosen example essay. So we've chunked it up for you. One thing that we've added and want to emphasize here is this reminder that even though you give your point in the topic sentence here, this first highlighted bit, that take some time and continue your discussion of the point. A lot of times there's so much covered in that first topic sentence, you need to slow down a little bit, elaborate on the point that you've made. You may need to explain different kinds of growth that are evident that you've just referred to generally in that topic sentence. I'm going to skip down here to the next element that I want to highlight, and that's as you look at each section of the essay map, we've associated the reflection idea that goes along with that section of P's. So the point is where you're using the reflection model of what. Evidence is an expanded discussion of the what model. Then in analysis, you're dealing with both so what and what next. So this helps, I think, highlight the fact, sorry about the pun, but to highlight the fact that analysis has a lot of work to do because you're looking at the significance of your growth as well as explaining your evidence. So this second bullet point, I think, is really helpful in showing you how to keep digging into that analysis. What's the significant and impact? What's the significance of the growth that you found evidence of? And what do you think the impact of that growth has been and will be? So there's a lot to do in the analysis part of your paragraph. It's probably where you really want to make sure you nail it. In this next section of the essay map, I want to take a second and talk about this section called evidence. So in each body paragraph of the essay map, we're pointing out some places that you can go back to find that evidence. For instance, in this one, which is about your growth in terms of your ability to revise and edit, we're reminding you in this highlighted section that you may find evidence of that in your outlining, peer review, grammar exercises, P's highlighting exercises, what you discovered in turning in multiple drafts, conferencing with your instructor or tutor, using feedback from both your instructor and your classmates. It could also be a strategy you used, but I didn't require. So these evidence hints are not a completely exhaustive list. It's just to get you started with your brainstorming. I want to spend some time talking about this last body paragraph, which is how you've participated in a respectful and inclusive community of writers over the course of the semester. So I think this is getting more into the conceptual ideas. And I think that when you get to this section, spend a lot of time looking at these questions that we've developed to help you generate some ideas. So for this topic, what did you notice about how you were asked to participate in a respectful and inclusive community of writers? How did you see respect and inclusion being encouraged? Maybe you saw that in the readings, in the assignment, in the participation with fellow students, in learning about rhetorical strategies like how best to engage with your target audience. I want to take a second and put in a plug for Reflection Essay 2, which is all about rhetorical strategies and how you need to understand the values of your target audience and address them respectfully and take them into consideration, which is part of inclusion, as you're building your ideas for how to convince that person and show them, what you have in common as you're trying to convince them of your point of view. So Reflection Essay 2, I think, is going to be great for this one. There's also a lot of reading that we had in there, like the Adichie piece, that are particularly about the importance of inclusion of ideas and identities. So other questions: how did you see yourself being respectful? How did you see yourself being inclusive, which is allowing for multiple ideas and allowing other people to have their ideas? Did you observe growth in your ability to participate in a respectful and inclusive community? And really, this one's very important too. How do you feel about how you were respected and included in the community of our class? Both by your classmates, by the topics, by your instructor. So the evidence can be found in so many different things that we've looked at in this class. But keep in mind, it can also be in the feedback that you've gotten. It could be an email and other in communication that you've had with instructors, tutors, and your peers. So again, the analysis of this section is looking at that significance. What do you think the impact of that participation and growth has been and will be? So looking towards the future is a super important part of reflection, and I think maybe particularly important in this topic. The last section of the essay map is your conclusion. We're asking that you take a second to think about prediction. So predicting is a great conclusion strategy. So take a second to tell your reader how you'll use how you've grown in both writing skills and processes in the future, also ideas, and that may include future education, professional experience, and other parts of your life. Just one last reminder that after you're done creating this reflection essay 3, you'll then be pasting in your essay that you've chosen as your example essay. That pretty much covers how to use this assignment sheet to build your essay. I recommend going back, reading that assignment sheet really carefully, and using it to draft your essay step by step. It's a recipe, it's a formula, it's directions that are broken down for you. And I know it can be a lot to assimilate, but really take your time and use that essay map as you generate each section of your reflection. I hope this was helpful, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.